Hello, it's another Sunday and welcome to UKGK TV. My name's Bill Voice and this is my good friend
Dave Nicholson. How you doing, guys? Okay? Nice sunny morning this morning.
Well, it's a beautiful morning. I've been in the doghouse some of the week.
Why? What have you done?
Oh, various things, mate. I don't seem to be able to get anything right at the moment, so I'm just like, this is my haven.
Doghouse?
The doghouse, La Maison de la Chienne.
Oh,
that's
it's
it.
called,
French,
it's called being married.
I'm not allowed to say anything French because my accent is so deplorable.
Is that what you said?
Sounds comical. So, I'm not going to say anything.
So you're going to get your telly and your kits in the doghouse?
Yeah, I think I can just imagine. I can manage zoot alors.
Okay.
But that's about it.
What have you exactly supposed to have done?
I don't know, mate, because different. It's like being a piece of driftwood on many tides. You know, the tides move in different directions, and the driftwood just bobs about, unhelped. You know what I mean? I just think I'm a typical middle-aged man who finds their job everything. So when I'm not in my job,
You're
the
lost.
devil makes work for idle hands, doesn't it? You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm better if I'm gainfully employed in doing something. So like the other day, I tried to do a drawing, and I got 2/3 of the way up this drawing. It was looking lovely, and then I got distracted, and I dropped a big blob of black ink on it, which meant that I had to restart it. So it was like 5 hours down the Swanee. So anyway, but you know,
Bill's scratching his nose again, so I'm doing the same thing.
Keep your hands down. You see, this is it, mate. There's nothing we can do that somebody's not going to concentrate on.
Somebody does, doesn't they? The sooner you realise, Bill, that you're in the wrong and you're wrong,
just stay in the wrong.
Stay in the wrong.
Stay in the wrong.
Yeah, because they speak a different women speak a different language from Brits.
They do.
From
they speak a
men,
different language
don't
to
they?
me. Yeah.
When they say if it's fine,
it isn't.
It's not. So they say I'm fine.
Do whatever you like.
Means not.
Means do what I say.
Yeah. The worst one is okay.
And it's not.
It's not. That means step back 6 foot and chuck as much chocolate at her as possible.
Can. Chocolate flowers.
Yeah. So whatever they say, it's the opposite.
So probably the opposite of it. Yeah, unless it's positive, then you know it's wrong and you've got to go the opposite anyway.
And when you've got a minute means now.
So I've been falling foul of two people divided by the same language, like Oscar Wilde quote, incidentally. So I did go on Saturday to Sale, which is a place close to my heart in Manchester. And I saw a very small but really well curated exhibition about Ray Harryhausen, and it was all about the stuff that he wanted to make that he didn't get to make. Mm-hmm. So there was like War of the Worlds, People of the Mists, Creation, all of these things which were really beautifully. You know, he'd done all the model work, he'd done everything. He just couldn't get a backer for these things. And there was even like some stuff from the late 1980s, you know, post Clash of the Titans,
right?
Which he was under production but never quite got made.
So where was this? Sale?
This was Sale Waterside, not Sale Water Park. Sale Water Park is somewhere else. Sale Waterside, and it's basically the theatre exhibition hall right in the centre of Sale. And when they're talking about water, of course, it's Manchester, so they're referring to a canal.
Ship canal.
It's a lovely little town, Sale. It's part of Greater Manchester, but it has a distinct character of its own. A couple of pubs there, really nice restaurants. It's recently had a bit of a renaissance. They've gentrified it, but not enough to get rid of the character. And you can even hire a boat or a canoe or a punt and go up and down a canal a little bit. Which sounds bizarre, but on a beautiful, warm summer day...
Which never happens.
Sale could be... I don't know, you could be in Cambridge.
Right, okay.
Well, maybe I'm stretching it.
You might be stretching it a little tiny bit.
Anyway, but Sale, for me, has got sentimental connections that, you know... So I'm always going to go there and be positive. Mm. Yeah, so...
So what was it like? Was it good?
It was great. It was, like I said, it was very small. There was only about 30 exhibits there, but there was the armature for Mighty Joe Young, the original armature for Mighty Joe Young, fantastic. There was the one-eyed Minotaur. There was the underpinning for that as well, and it had been stripped back. And there was some very, very early dinosaur models that he did with back when he worked with like Willis O'Brien. Mm. And the skeletons were there with the foam on it and some of the skin, and you could see that they deteriorated over the years because obviously the materials he's used, they're nearly 100 years old now. Mm. So some of the animation monsters were there, and some of the original clay sculptures that would have been cast in plaster for the background models, you know, because they use this series of cameras and plates, don't they, set in front of each other. So they animate and they project live action, then they animate and project live action.
Yeah.
And all this was explained in great depth, so you can actually see how he integrated the models with the live action shots that he took. Oh, right. Brilliant, well worth a go. And obviously,
was it expensive?
Free. It's
Really?
free. Just walk in off the street. There's a big poster right in the middle of the square, and you go. Oh, right. And you go around the corner. There's the 2 fighting skeletons on the poster on the board. It says Ray Harryhausen. You go in. There's actually one of the Jason the Argonaut skeletons in there. So if you go for nothing else, you can actually see one of the original skeletons in its case. It's only this big. A tiny little model. It's amazing that you could make them because the detail on them is fantastic. Yeah. But animating them, it's just something else. Anyway. I'm a bit of a fan, so if you are a fan,
that was your show.
So that was it. That was me. That was probably the high point of my week, and it didn't get me into any trouble. But I felt like I'd just sort of
used all your brownie points.
I'd used my brownie points on that one. Yeah. But anyway,
well, we've got
other shows, haven't we?
We've got a big show coming up in next weekend. So we are IPMS. Telford, which is a Scale World, is it? Scale World?
International Plastic Scale Model Show, is it?
That's next weekend. We do this one every year. We've been doing it for the last 5-6 years. Really nice show. Big, one of the biggest shows. One of the biggest shows I've done.
It's amazing.
Worth a visit.
Yeah.
There's not much sci-fi stuff there, but
I would say that it's perhaps a really varied show because
it's a model show, isn't it?
There's a bit of horror, there's a bit of sci-fi, but what you go in there for is for innovation, because there was a guy there selling like lighting kits for the Starship Enterprise Klingon Bird of Prey, and he was doing also, it's programmable, and they were selling programs, they were selling the circuits.
Yeah.
Then there was a lot of military there,
knives and paints,
paints, Dremels, and anything you want that's going to help you enhance your work is available. Transfers, you know. Decals. What was the thing? You know, on aircraft when you're doing like a really detailed cockpit and you've got those brass etched stuff. There's loads of brass etch.
What's that?
Yeah, there's loads of brass etch. So if you got like a 1/48th Lancaster, there's like you can buy a brass etched kit that really super details the whole thing. So you could go there, get pretty average 1/48 scale model, and with all the stuff you could buy, you can make it into a museum quality model. So
it's busy as well.
It's busy.
It's a really big event. Be prepared, guys. It's very busy. The queues to get in will be quite big.
Yeah.
We go. We're classed as one of the strange people because we sell all the weird stuff.
But there is a weird section.
That's us.
Vintage weird kits as well.
Is there?
Yeah. What's his name was that?
Tony James.
Yeah.
Tony's there.
So you can get some vintage kits, not just vintage military kits, but you can get vintage horror, you can get vintage dinosaurs, Horizon,
Argonauts.
Argonaut stuff, and what Billiken.
Yeah, Billiken.
All of those things.
Yeah,
anything you want, you can get it.
Yeah, Tony's there. I mean, if all you guys that were in the hobby from the beginning, you'll remember Tony from Comic Miniatures. He has a stall there. It's always worth a look at Tony's stall. He always has some little hidden gems. It always amazes me what he has. We're there. There's a few guys that do it. It's predominantly it's basically the biggest model show in Europe.
In Europe, yeah, because you get a lot of people there from Holland and Germany
and Japan. I
mean, this is like international. This is like the big deal.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Last year they had this 1/32 scale Lancaster dropping a bouncing bomb.
That was good.
With this massive plume of water coming up, didn't they? And it was all modelled and it was lit underneath with the explosions and stuff.
It looks great, doesn't it? It's worth a visit.
Yeah,
guys.
It's worth a visit. And if you get there and the car park for the venue is full, don't worry, because right next door to it, there's an absolutely massive multi-story, which is quite reasonably priced. So if you get there and it's busy, stick your car in the multi-story and just walk over.
Yeah.
You know,
2-day event.
Plus, it's easy to get out at the end as well.
Two-day event, guys. Worth a visit. It's purely model. It's not if you want paint ups. No, you won't get them from there. But it's purely model kit show. I guess it kind of we started going there because we tried to tap into that sort of military sort of market with our sci-fi and horror, which I think we do. Whereas the other shows in the UK, there used to be one years ago. Did you ever used to go to the Memorabilia Show?
Oh yeah.
If you used to go to the Memorabilia Show, it's on a par for size with that.
Yeah.
Now, Memorabilia Show, for all you guys that don't know what that was, held in the NEC in Birmingham.
Birmingham NEC.
Yeah, so that was everything. That was T-shirts, collectibles, models, posters, action figures,
film stills.
I guess it was a Comic Con. Do you think it was a Comic Con? Was it?
I would say it was like an early Comic Con, but it attracted a wider segment of the population.
There wasn't autographs, was there?
There was autographs, and you would often get people going there, really older people looking for autographs. You got film buffs looking for posters, but you also got horror people looking for horror stuff, and you got the younger kids who were looking for comic books, because in those days there wasn't what there is now. Comic books were kind of a special, unless you could get them from the paper shop. It was like a specialist. It was a trek. Used to go to Birmingham or Manchester to buy comic books. So they
just seem to nowadays Comic Cons just seem to have separated a bit. They seem to be more towards the signatures, don't they?
It's signatures, posters, and comic books. It's flat material. There's no models as such now. Comic Con has become specialist, hasn't it?
They seem to have. They seem to have narrowed the audience down, don't they?
I think the audience has narrowed, but the amount of material that you can now buy has widened. So there's so much comic book stuff now. There's no need for any filler.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days when it was just DC, Marvel, and maybe
we were the fillers, weren't we?
We were the fillers. Now there's so many Dark Horse, all of those people, all those different comic book things. Luckily, for me, it's one of the things that kind of makes me feel kind of quite happy is, because we always think, where are the new generation for our hobby? And I think a lot of those kids at the moment are in comic books, and they will eventually come out of comic books into 3Ds.
Possibly, which leads us on to the more specialised cons, like your horror cons. So basically, in the UK, you've got your two this year. There was the two big ones. There was the one in May, which being Bill Gowan, he's doing it next year with us. That's
in Rotherham, isn't it?
That's in Rotherham. That's HorrorCon. So that one's in May. Now that is everything horror. And there's there's no model kits there, so it's everything horror. So if you want a horror statue, that's there. So if you're looking for horror and that's your bag,
masks, taxidermy,
film
everything. Posters,
everything
videos,
horror, everything horror. So that's that one, and then there's one that's just gone that Bill went to last week.
Popcorn.
Manchester.
Manchester, for the love of horror.
Yeah.
That's more film related. There's a trade area.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was centred around getting autographs, taking photographs,
yeah,
getting a beer, watching the stage, and that sort of stuff.
Then you've got the popcorn, which Bill keeps going on about,
I love popcorn.
It's film, isn't it?
It's film generally. You go there and it's more just film fans. So there's some horror. But you can go there and you can get action movie stuff and things like that. So there's action figures, there's masks, there's costumes, there's t-shirts, the usual stuff. But it's more generalised. It's less about horror and thriller and more about general stuff.
Yeah, so they're the ones that are done over here. And then, of course, you've got our show, which is UKGK, right, which you guys need to pencil in for next year, because we are almost certain that it's going to be the last weekend in September. There's limited space at the hotels. Hopefully on the next video I can confirm that. I know a lot of you have penciled in that hotel already, which is a wise move. Just put it on a cancel, that you can cancel it for now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the last Saturday in September payday, but we're getting there. So we go over to the other side of the water. Did you ever go to Chile?
No, but I went to a San Francisco Comic Con one year, which was kind of interesting because it's a lot flashier.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, but there's the one I did want to go to was Monsterpalooza. But that's on the East Coast, is it?
West Coast.
West Coast. Never got to that, but I would have loved to that. And Wonderfest, obviously, a friend of mine, Mark. Hi, Mark. He took our stuff to Wonderfest. Enjoyed it. He enjoyed the process of going to Wonderfest. Wonderfest is perhaps a one where
that's a model show.
That's a model show. So if you want models, it's virtually all models.
Yeah, that's like UKGK,
but huge. And I think
that's in May, isn't it?
It's
May, June.
It's May, June.
And then we had one that popped up that was done on the East Coast, which was Jersey Fest. I'm not sure that
Jersey Fest. Yeah,
I'm not sure that that's still going.
I think it does go. I mean, if you've ever been to Jersey,
I've been. Yeah,
you've been to Jersey. I mean, I went there and it was like kind of, I don't know, it was kind of a weird kind of like New York, but not New York.
Yeah,
and it's very flat. And
yeah.
there's, it's kind of a real sort of homey kind of environment.
Yeah.
Little districts and areas.
I went to
like a lot of Italian people there. It's a really nice place to go. It's quite quiet. It's quite out of the way. You wouldn't believe that you were that close to New York.
Well, we stopped when we went to Chile. We the typical mad Brits. We went to Chile Theatre many moons ago, and we stopped in a place called what's it called? Chicarcas. Excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, guys. Chicarcas, right?
Is that Syracuse, you mean?
I don't know, mate.
It could be Syracuse, it could be Chicarcas.
Chicarcas. I'll be honest with you.
The Americans probably call it Chicarcas.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is us. This is the Brits, right? And this is the truth. There's 4 of us went to Chile. So we get off at Newark Airport.
Yeah.
And I've never been so scared in my life. You've got all these massive cops with guns. And I was like, holy, what's going on here? So these Brits turn up, we get outside, and our instructions were, do not get in a cab unless there's a guy in a yellow, is it a yellow?
A yellow, like a bib.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's an official cab rank, and you have to line up, yeah.
Yeah, well, he said, we were told, unless he puts you in a cab, don't get in a cab.
Oh, not now, because you can upset people.
Right, so what did
we... you have to get in your line,
What did we do?
You got into the first cab you saw, didn't you?
Yeah. So he gets in this cab, and it was like Huggy. He was like Huggy Bear.
Yeah.
Out of Starsky and Hutch.
If you remember it, you know it. If you know it, you know it. Antonio Fargas was his name.
He looked just like him, right?
Antonio Fargas.
And I'm sitting there, and he goes, "Where do you guys want to go?" And I said, "Take us to the shittiest motel you can find." And he went, "What? Take me to the shittiest motel you can find."
And he did,
and he did.
It was like something out of The Shining on it.
It was. So we pulled up there. Everyone thought we were mentally. The Americans thought we were nuts stopping there.
You wanted the full experience.
Oh, it was amazing. So he pulls up, and it was called, get this, the crappiest, rubbishy motel. Sorry if you own this place, by the way, but it was called the Plaza Motor Inn. How good is that?
It's great, because it's like when you go to a place that's called Mount Pleasant.
It's
you
brilliant.
know it's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, but there's like a vacancy sign with all the buttons, and they were
all
going.
The bulbs are up.
Yeah, they were. Honestly,
was there an ice machine in the lobby?
It was, and then it was flickering like that. No vacancies. And I thought, we've done it. So he pulls in, and it was right on the side of the freeway. Right, yeah. So every time you went to the toilet, he was. So he goes there, and there's a little room that I would assume it was the reception.
Yeah.
And in the reception was a coffee machine. Right. Free coffee, and I thought, I was living
a dream, mate.
And it said second floor soda and candy. Oh, mate, it was great. So he turns around, and there's this little guy sat behind a glass desk.
Is this like Men in Black?
Yeah. It was like pre-COVID. So we'd never seen this in the UK. So there's a little guy with a little hat on like me, and he sat there like that, and he goes, "Hey, you guys!" And I was going, Can we have a room? And he said, I've never been asked this before. He goes, can we have a room, guys? Can we, how many of you guys is there?
What's coming? He's
I know.
Say,
and he goes, 4 of us. And he goes, how long do you want it for, guys? Half an hour, a day, a week. And I went,
what he was thinking.
I'm thinking, half an hour? That's about 6 times, isn't it, Bill? With a break. So, and we got into and then we followed this gentleman in with this rather dubious lady. Very cheap aftershave.
Yeah. Was he having half an hour?
It was amazing. It was amazing. We got the full experience. And when we told Sir Rob Rotondi, who was meeting us there, and Norbert, we said, "Where are you stopping?" We said, "The Plaza." Of course, the Plaza's massive in New York.
Yeah.
It's not so massive where we were stopping.
It's not the Plaza, it's our Plaza, yeah.
And the guys thought we were nuts. They thought we were crazy. But it was a good experience. It was a good experience. That was Chiller Theatre, and that was more of a comic con. So what have we got to introduce today?
Well, we've got some big ones and some small ones. But the ones that, I just normally come in and have a look what's on the sides. And you're preparing
everything up, don't you?
Yeah, just picking stuff up and going, look, this is marvellous. And you're you're getting ready for the show on Saturday, so there's
Yeah,
a
let me
lot of stuff out.
Yeah, let me just put this out to you.
Yeah.
After the last video, we had a lot of response for the items, and there's a few of you that have pre-ordered stuff for after that video. When we get back next week, I do apologise because we're in the middle of a massive show thing. I do apologise. It's only going to be a week, so next week I'm going to start shipping the orders out. We're going to be struggling this week because it's only me and Rachel trying to get ready. So if you've ordered anything after Stanford of this video, don't worry. There's a bit of a lull this week. It's going to be done next week and sent out. All right. So first up, and by the way, before we get involved in it, guy that ordered all the Ghostbusters stuff, which we're going to show now. That's definitely going to be shipped this next week. Yeah. Thank you for waiting for us. First up,
Andy Copeland, Michael Myers, totally appropriate. Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween, guys.
Nice kit, 4 parts: head, hand with knife, body, and the pumpkin at the bottom.
Do you know what? That one flies out.
I'm not surprised because it's compact, isn't it? It's compact.
It flies out. He's recently. I'm speaking with Andy at the minute because he's in the process now of doing a Mark II version of this with Donald Sutherland. Oh, it looks amazing. Now, this is going to be bigger than this. It's going to be larger than this. So, it's going to have a Donald Sutherland...
Donald Sutherland, Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance,
Sorry,
mate.
I do apologise. I do apologise.
That's the remake of the Body Snatchers.
I've cleaned my teeth and I can't do a thing with them today.
So, yeah, Donald Pleasance. Yeah. English actor.
Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis, war hero.
Right.
Actual prisoner of war, I think he was.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah, because he plays in The Great Escape.
Yeah.
And he virtually plays the character he plays himself because he experienced all that.
Right.
Bizarre, isn't it? These people.
Now this one is due to this one's available now. It's been about for a while, but it's out there. But hopefully in the new year or before Christmas, dependent, the Mark II version, which is going to be a slightly bigger version of this.
So I love these little bits of detail that you
It's going to be available, guys.
Look at that. It's fantastic. Really nice key point as well. Easy to put together.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people moan about the way these kits go together, but if you look back, say 10 years to how garage kits used to not go together,
yeah,
things have changed massively, haven't they? To have all these lovely little locators and stuff like that,
yeah,
that makes your life so much easier, doesn't it? Because you remember in the old days when they were just flat surfaces, and you had to pin them, didn't you, and stuff like that.
Well, some still are,
but I mean, stuff like this, you know, you can say what you like about the notion of 3D printing, but 3D printing does
enables you to do that.
Enables you to do that, an accurate fit.
Yeah. There's something that, while you're talking about that, I'm just going to get something. On the last video, guys, we showed you the Jaws, wall plaque.
The Jaws wall
now,
plaque.
I'm going to, while Bill's talking you through this shows you we're live, I'm going to get a couple of things to show you, because a few people have asked me a few questions. I'll leave it over to you for a
So
second.
this is Joe Bailey's Caesar. It's a full figure. I like every so often to go back to Joe's work, because Joe's work is very sculptural. It's very statuesque in the true sense of the word. And if you look at this figure of Caesar, it's an absolute doozy. I love it. Very, very detailed, beautiful looking little parts. Nice scale. Once again, in pieces, so it's cast very, very smartly. If you look at that, look at the ears and stuff like that. The thing is with Joe, he's very old school. He puts these things together he uses plastoline, doesn't he? Still. Yeah. He uses a material called plastoline, which is like a really primitive monster clay. It's interesting to use though. So just let me show you this. And the good thing about Joe's is he works from the figure outwards. So this has been basically he starts with the naked human figure and builds the clothes up on it. That's why they look so natural and so realistic, because you can actually see the fabric built up over the actual sculpture of the Caesar's legs. So that's a really nice, small but perfectly formed. So what have we got here?
Right, quite a few people after the last video were interested in the Jaws wall plaque. Yeah. And he sort of said to us, when's it available? As I explained a couple of minutes ago, once we get back from IPMS Telford next week, we're going to be working on dispatching them. However, a couple of you expressed size and stuff.
And these are comparisons, aren't they?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is, there's your comparisons. So it's a completely different sculpt, guys.
Totally different sculpt. So you're not buying the same sculpt adapted, you're buying totally different sculpt. And if you look, you can see the This is the standalone, and this is the wall hanger one without the hat.
And look at the difference in size.
And the size is, I'd say it's quite considerable, isn't it? Quite considerable. It's in fact it's bigger, isn't it?
It's
Chunky,
a lot bigger.
A lot bigger. And is this the Richard Dreyfuss character? Oh, look at that! I just want to look at their detail on the back of that. That is superb. Look at this. That is so lifelike. It's amazing. Look at it.
So
Absolutely.
basically, these are the wall plaque ones.
These are the wall plaque.
And they've got the squares in the back. Because a lot of you, another question you asked us was, can we paint these out?
Yeah,
yes.
that
All
easy.
you need to do is, the locators are there.
I'm interested to see how people are going to deal with the shark bite stuff. Caesar shark bites.
Yeah.
Because are you going to make it like stone? Make it look a piece of stone? Are you going to make it look like the material it is? I'm interested to see how people are going to manage these.
Now, Andy, when he does it,
That's
which
all
I
right,
didn't
yeah.
realise, but obviously there's a reason for this, the locating holes are different sizes and different depths so that you can't get them mixed up where they go.
So they only fit in one position.
Yeah.
So you can't get them. You're not going to be able to glue them in the wrong place. So
Covered in
everything.
dust here.
Yeah, well, this is the manufacturing process. My wife just was moaning about. I think it was some dinner I got down my shirt. Now I'm covered in dust.
If you look there, you can see there where the figure actually goes
Together, like that. Look at that.
Okay.
It's a bit of genius, that, isn't it?
It's
Lovely.
good.
Like I
It
was
looks
saying,
like it's not meant to be like that. It looks like he's just randomly done it, but
There's
he
a method to his madness.
there's a method to it, and that's where that goes.
Mm.
So, all you guys that were talking about this last week, the Jaws wall plaque, they are different sculpts. You're not buying the same sculpt again. It's a completely different thing. And once we've got Telford out of the way, which is coming, Remembrance Weekend?
This
Next
weekend?
weekend?
Yeah.
Next weekend?
Next weekend.
Yeah, we can take it from. We can dispatch everything from them.
I'm just reaching over here for an oldie but goodie. And there we go. Paul Fay's Nosferatu. Whoops. So there you go. It's a wall hanger. I've seen this. This won an exhibition, one of the UK GK exhibition finalists a couple of years back. One of these, wasn't it?
I
Somebody
think
painted
it was Pete. Pete Watson. That did
Pete,
that.
yeah, Pete the bassman, yeah.
Yeah.
Pete the bassman had one of these, and I have to say,
Who's good?
good does not cover it, but
He likes his vampires.
he does like his vampires. But the thing is, to get a good paint job, you need a brilliant kit, and this is a beautiful kit. 2 parts. You've got Nosferatu's head, so you can paint that separately and do all you need to do it. And there's a hand as well, isn't there?
Two hands.
Two hands. Superb. I mean, these rats just love it. It's a bit of art. This, I love it. I love the concept behind it, because it kind of fits the whole film, doesn't it? You've got the castle, you've got the rats that come off the boat, you've got Nosferatu himself, Max Schreck Nosferatu, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you want to know what Max Schreck Nosferatu looked like, then Paul Fay's your man.
After watching the video last week and editing it, I went away and watched Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot.
The new one.
The new one.
Not great.
Not great.
Not great.
So kids, if somebody says to you, Salem's Lot, ask your dad to show you the David Soul one.
Not good. It's not great.
But
It's
the David Soul
okay.
one's better.
It's okay.
Better by miles.
It's
Better by miles.
okay, but it's not. No, it wasn't great. It
Now,
wasn't great.
Just before we get to the main meal, which is that thing over there, I want to just go through some big shelf killers.
Is this what you've been picking up as you come in today? Well,
These are what I picked up because last week when I was talking to Julian, we were looking for a Bela Lugosi Dracula, and because all the stock was in boxes, I get in here this week, freshly cast, still covered in like parting powder and stuff like that. Look at that! Now this is Darren Kent, isn't it? Darren Harvey.
Darren's done the Dracula.
Darren Harvey.
Darren's done the Lugosi Dracula. This is quite a big one. And if you look at if you lift it up a little bit,
I'd say it's 2/3, isn't it, or half?
If you look at there, if you go on eBay, you can get a little tea light that flickers.
Yeah, stick them on their little tea holders there, flickering tea holders.
Yeah, that's your Lugosi Dracula.
That's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Look at that. I mean, if you're going to go for a Lugo, if you're a big fan of Universal horror and you want one defining Lugosi thing on your shelf, I'd say this one.
yeah, it's a nice piece. Darren's
It's
done
nice
a really
piece.
good job of
Because what you get is a certain amount of fullness with it. You know, you get that. It really owns the space, and the face is big enough even for a clown like me to be able to paint it reasonably well. So,
If you like your classic stuff, it's funny you should know. Here's a bit of insight, a bit of a teaser. If you like your classic horror stuff, these are for a customer in the States that's going to complete. And we're going to basically, he's looking at taking these on in the States, and we're taking some real nice pieces on in the UK. So,
I have to say, when you look at this, the way that the face is sculpted, it's got a really lifelike feel to it and vibrancy.
Nice.
And if you put aside your preconceptions of Bela Lugosi, which is Dracula and horror and all the makeup and all the rest of it, and you look at him from the side like this, and you try and put things like, you can see why he was a classical, handsome matinee idol in his own country back in the 1900s and 1920s when he first started. This is a guy that used to play the leading man, and you can see it. You can see the structure of his face. He's got a very sort of Romanesque face with a straight nose and a high brow. You can kind of see him playing Shakespeare. You really could. Like I say, like a lot of horror stars, totally underrated as an actor because we have preconceptions about them.
Yeah.
Very interesting guy. Tragic end of life story, but you know what? He's embedded in so many of our psyches, isn't he?
Yeah,
he kind of lives on in a sense.
Chris Lee or Bela Lugosi for you?
I think I have to say, for me, it's the original Dracula movie with Bela Lugosi is for me the definitive Dracula. The most believable Dracula though.
Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, dead and loving it. Dead and loving it. Oh yeah, well in that case then, forget Lugosi, forget Christopher Lee, forget Jack Palance even.
Yeah.
Also did Dracula. Forget Frank Langella.
Yeah.
Not a chance. Leslie Nielsen.
Dead and Love It. Is it Love at First Bite?
Love at First Bite. Is that which
That's
is the
one
David
with
Niven?
Leslie.
David Niven, is that Love at First Bite?
No, Love at First Bite is the one where he sort of spoofed. Love at First Bite is the one. I'm sure it is. I'm sure we're going to get
Dead
to
and
it.
Loving It is going to be, what's his name?
You know when he what?
The one that did The Producers.
Yeah, Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks is Dead and Loving It.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Love at First Bite is the. Remember that attractive looking lady that was at Popcorn? She was in She was in Love at First Bite. He did the spoof of Gary Oldman's Dracula and slipped down the stairs on the back.
Yeah. Anyway, this is brilliant. Now, when I speak of Lugosi as Dracula, I have to speak of Karloff as Frankenstein, and this is another one I just picked up off the shelf this morning because I haven't seen this in a while. This is a monster. Look at that. And it's called The Monster. Now, for all you English teachers out there that get really sick of guys like us calling this Frankenstein, we know he's not Frankenstein. He is the monster. Right? He is, the creature, the monster. Because when you read Frankenstein, of course, Frankenstein is the creator of the monster. So this is Karloff.
Darren Harvey, it's Karloff.
Darren Harvey's Karloff. Look at that. Look at the way he's got the lips. When he's pulling his lips in, and the cheeks, the cheeks, the corpse-like cheeks.
Yeah.
And the skin, the texture of the skin underneath the chin. You see, sometimes you know when you're handling the work of a genius because there's not one. They never abandon anything on the sculpture. Every piece of the sculpture has got just as much love and attention as detail as the rest of it. Even the back. Look at the back. It's got your rivets. You've got your. This mimics the pattern of the laboratory.
Yeah.
In the windmill that explodes in the end and burns. But it's a lovely piece. And I would say this is Frankenstein from Frankenstein, not the Bride of Frankenstein, because he's still got all his hair, which gets burned off in the end of the first movie. So this is beautiful, and I use that word unreservedly.
Beautiful.
And another. Before we show you the coup de grace, sorry, I spoke a bit of French there, and I shouldn't. Before we look at the end of it, I want to show you another one that I haven't seen in a while either. Oh, you're going to show them that as well. So
there you go, guys. Let me just show you this one before Bill goes on. This one was done for this year's HorrorCon because Nancy Baker was there. So basically, we wanted to get her to sign it for us, and she did. Look at that.
Right.
How's that? Nancy Baker signed us that
Look
one.
at
So
that,
that's by the actress. She loved it. She had one herself. She absolutely adores it. She thinks it's fantastic. She did the little crackling laugh at the end, which was great.
Brilliant.
So this one is still available. It's huge, and it was sculpted by Andy Copeland. So hopefully this one will be, well, it will, it's not hopefully, it will be available. Not the signed one, by the way. This actual piece, this actual model will be available for sale. Come and see me and Bill in May.
I tell you what, you know, for a woman who's possessed by demons, she's looking very attractive.
She was.
Yeah.
She was. She's a lovely lady.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady.
She's a lovely lady.
So this is the other Darren Harvey one, and there you go. It's Slimer from Ghostbusters, which is one of my all-time favourite movies. It's just you're gonna call Ghostbusters. So I just love this one because this is really easy to get wrong and just make a green blob. This is not just a green blob. Look at that. Look at the teeth. He's eating the hamburger. He's got his food all going down him. I just love it. And,
nice piece.
Oh yeah, and he's got a frankfurter in the other hand as well, which is always fun.
Frankfurter?
Yeah, frankfurter. It's one of those traditional wiener frankfurters now, mate. So here he is with his wiener in his hand, looking for fun.
His wiener in his hand.
Yeah, come on, mate.
Is that legal?
I think we've just got to go with that one. I don't think they're going to cut that out, are they?
We not.
We've already sworn once today.
We have.
So there you go. So this is a lovely. I just saw this on the shelf and it was head height, and I just love it because I love the character, and I love real time effects, and I loved in the original Ghostbusters most of it. In fact, it was all real-time effects. It was all either rubber sculptures, animatronics, and any overlays were just like visual effects were like just glowing.
Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2.
Quite like Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 1 is always going to be the best one.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't know, it brings back a time in my life when I was very happy. And it also brings back this like shock of, wow, it's like a ghost movie, but it's funny.
It is.
Yeah, it's kind of scary as well.
Yeah.
I think what's her name is the actress is at peak in that when she turns into the Sigourney Weaver. What can I say? Ghostbusters, we're there every day.
This one, this actual one is going out to somebody that watches the video who's been waiting very patiently for this. I'll tell you the story behind it. I've just come in today to find out what's gone on. We did send this order out, but we actually sent it to the wrong person.
So somebody's got one of these that didn't ask for it.
Yeah, and the Ghostbusters. So we've had to redo these.
Yeah,
and the gentleman that watches this video very, very patiently has waited patiently for this, and the other ones.
Well,
feel assured this is going out next week.
This you are not going to be disappointed when you get
Superb.
it. Are you posting it?
Yeah, posting it. That one is his. That one's actually going out. I've come in to do that this week, especially for him.
Put that down. So
I'll pass you that one, mate.
That leaves me to go and do my. This is why we're live, because we don't. Well, we can't be bothered preparing, can we? Really? But you might have seen this at on the UKGK video, and this is the base of. I'm going to be very careful because this is made of monster clay. This is the base of Darren Kent's Kong. Now, look at the skin detail on that. The jaw. Look at the jaw and the lip detail on that, and the eye. I mean, obviously, there's bits missing off it: the legs and the arms and the teeth.
The teeth. They're like a set of dentures, and then these are where the Kong stands.
Kong's feet. There's little magnets. There's magnets in there. Isn't there?
Yeah.
Little magnets.
So Kong.
Here's what I found.
Whoops, sorry.
Oh, we've set off his smartwatch. It's not that smart, but I have to say, mate, this is weighing heavy.
It is, yeah.
That's a chunk, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now we're showing you this because we're also going to show you what happens in the next stage. I'll put that down. There we go. Now this is the rubber mould of what you've just seen. Luckily, the monster clay's come out without being any damage on it as well, which is good. But this is the sort of latex rubber. What would you say? Polyurethane rubber? RTV rubber. And on the outside, fiberglass cover.
Otherwise, the block.
Yeah.
If it was a block, it'd be mega.
Plus, when you put the liquid in, the liquid would win a lot. It would distort the mould, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So what the fiberglass does is it holds the mould in position, so there's no distortion. And eventually, you could take that out if you needed to, couldn't you? Not that you will. But look at that. Now, if that's solid, that's going to weigh
A lot.
5 kilos.
What we're going to try and do is we're going to have a go at
Slush
moulding it, but a lot of it's got a really, really poignant smell on it.
Lovely smell. It's got that vaporous workshop smell. You know when you fill your car with petrol and you think that's a nice smell and you shouldn't be smelling it. Well,
that's what it is, yeah.
It's one of them smells.
So that's just a bit of inside information, guys. That is the actual mould. So we're well underway with this. So anybody that's interested in this piece,
I'm in awe of the vastness
of the size.
Oh, the size is just amazing. I mean, the base itself is a kit.
The dinosaur. Look how big that dinosaur is.
The dinosaur's just amazing.
Look how big
I
this
do love a dinosaur.
I mean, the dinosaur
and
itself.
I've seen a lot of dinosaurs, and I'm not easy to impress, but this one really does impress me. Incredible. So let's have a look at some size. So how deep is it?
Are we inches or feet?
Inches. We'll do it inches.
It is 5 inches deep.
It's 5 inches deep. What's that?
It's 12.
It's got to be 13 inches across, surely.
24. 24 bent round.
Oh, right. So the dinosaur itself is 24 inches long from nose to tail.
So from there
to there, it's 2 feet. It's 2 feet.
I would say, let's have a look again.
Well, in that case, if it's 2 feet and that's basically near enough a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which should be 40 feet long, so it's 1/20th.
24 inches tall.
1/20th scale.
So how big's Kong going to be? Kong's going to be huge.
It's huge. It's huge.
Is he about that big?
Yeah. He's going to be, what, 2 feet tall even? Going to be about 2 feet
By
tall.
the time he's got his legs on.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's the mould. So if we just thought, Bill thought this would be interesting to show you behind the scenes.
Yeah, a lot of people ask us how these things come about, and they're not quite. And when you pick up a garage kit, you think that's expensive, but actually, when you think of all the materials, the rubber, sometimes the fiberglass, the casting, the wastage, just generally the labour that goes into it, it's a labour of love. If I know for certain, if me or Dave sat down and we calculated our time hour by hour, we would be paying ourselves less than a minimum wage for the time, wouldn't we?
We're probably losing money.
We're probably losing money on something this big.
But like you say, if you that is before we've cashed into that. Well, I keep saying this, and I'm sorry for repeating myself. After Telford next weekend, we shall be starting to cast these, and we're finishing off the king himself, King Kong.
So you're gonna have to actually ask. Are you gonna have somebody doing this?
We're going to have a go.
We're going to have a go.
Failing that, we might have to put some bungs in.
Like a dish bung in the top to hold it on, so fill behind.
Because the base itself would be, I don't know how many kilos. Probably
it's going to be
5 kilos.
Packing that, mate. Packing it. The box
it's
is
not so
be,
much. Well, it is the resin.
Crate.
It is resin. It is the resin that's expensive because resin's not cheap.
Yeah.
But it'll be the postage is it just costs you a fortune. So we are going to try and lighten that up a bit and lighten the Kong up a little bit.
Can you slush it and then maybe put some firelight and then backfill with some firelight?
Yeah. We'll get round. We'll
get round it. But I tell you what,
I'm looking at trying to get that on the shelves for dispatch for.
I'd say if anybody out there is thinking of building an extension on their house, that this is a really good reason to have another room. There you go.
So it's massive, that, isn't it?
So we are now all covered in an absolute ton of dust, but we don't care because that's the kind of guys we are. We're tough. We can stand it, can't we, Dave?
We can. So that's what we're up to this week, guys. We've a few bits and pieces.
Yep.
A lot of people are contacting us. The channel's really starting to take off a bit now. I'm getting people that don't frequent on Facebook and the other platforms that we use. Bill's getting noticed everywhere he goes.
Can't go into Sainsbury's without being noticed. I have to say, I had a great conversation in Asda the other day with a girl that's doing philosophy, and she said to me, I did philosophy, I feel really disappointed that I can't get a job in philosophy. And I said, well, don't worry about it, because you never end up doing what you train in. I said, have you ever thought of, like, I don't know, the law? And she said, why? I said, well, that's a grey area, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, off she went. That's a good idea. I might be a solicitor. I think that's what she said anyway. But anyway, my autographs are still free.
For now.
For now.
So, Bill, you're coming down at weekend?
I'm coming down on the Saturday, hopefully, or the Sunday, but probably the Saturday. I'll probably come down on the Saturday to do that.
Saturday's the busy one, isn't it?
It's the busy one, but I love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the food's not bad, and the food's quite cheap. I'm just saying. And they do have that lovely bit of remembrance.
That's on Sunday.
That'll be on the Sunday, but they did it on Saturday last year as well.
Oh, they might have done, actually.
Yeah, they had 30 seconds, 2 minutes, sorry. They are very respectful.
Yeah.
And, the British Legion will be there selling poppies as well.
Put your poppies on, guys.
Put your poppies on, please.
Wear your poppy with pride.
With pride, yeah.
And it's been great, guys. So thank you for watching the channel, for all the interaction with us. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you've got any comments, I'm sure we've done loads wrong today, guys. Let us know.
Oh, yeah, we're bound to have, mate.
We won't be here next week because, as we keep saying, we're away. But the week after, we should have some nice new goodies for you. Yeah. Andy Copeland's busy being away. Bill's going to fetch you the box item for the Stan Winston, so we can see it. Yeah. Then we're on the countdown to the Stan Winston production. So Stan Winston, I'm hoping to ship early December.
Right,
so
it'll be ready by then.
Yeah. So we're looking at trying to get production built on that. So there's going to be a lot coming. It's not finished, guys. On the run up to the festive period, and hopefully we're all well and fit and healthy.
Yeah. So, it's goodbye from me, and it's
good night from him.